All right, so I'm outside of a 2019 Honda Insight. This is actually the touring model. So I'll start you at the back and just kind of walk you through some things. It's got the quick release on the trunk. Just to give you an idea for trunk space, you can see through. I do have a 60-40 split in here, so I've got dills right here to throw the trunk down. It does have a tire repair kit, so something to keep in mind. It's a hybrid, it does not come with a spare. Moving around to your second row, notice the chrome door handles. It's usually indicative of touring models. You'll see it as a leather finish interior. It does have the flip down as far as there, and you've got cup holders and then cup holders in the door also. So moving around, it is keyless entry, so I can walk up, grab the door to unlock for me. If I want to lock the door when I'm stepping away, you'll see the 3 ridges right here. I can pop that and it'll lock it for me. This car also has remote start, so just something to keep in mind, and I'll show you that here on the key as I hop in here in just a second. So let's hop in and get you set up for some stuff. All right, so as far as the key goes, to use remote start, you're always gonna press the lock button first, and then you'll press and hold the remote start button, and that'll fire up the car and get it running. That'll turn on the battery and essentially get the AC running also. It's not gonna turn on the electronics of the car, so when you hop in up here, you'll see it's still gonna ask you to turn on, as far as like putting your foot on the brake and hit the start button to turn on all the electronics of the car. So just keep that in mind, something to go over. Now, moving on to the car itself. So on the left side over here, you've got power windows. You have an auto up, down on your driver's side, so one tap will send them up and down. Your window locks, your door locks, and then your mirror controls, which are pretty standard in Hondas, the left and right, and then you adjust on the pad accordingly. Now moving over to the dash. This will pop your gas cap, so that's what this is. Vehicle stability assist. This works with your traction control, so in the event that you go into a skid, it'll transfer power from the left or right to whichever side is getting better traction. To help correct the skid, you can press this to hold it to turn it off. It takes a couple seconds, and you'll see it. It'll tell you it's turning it off, so that's what's going on there. I'm gonna turn it back on. Now it's back on. Only time you'd really want to turn this off is if you were stuck in the mud and were spinning your tires and wanted, you know what I mean, to get out. So that would be the purpose of that. To get to your Honda sensing stuff, so road departure mitigation, some of the other features in the car, you can toggle through right here and turn them on and off. So that just allows you to get access to these. And then some of the additional ones are gonna be over on the steering wheel that I'll go over here momentarily. So your trip info, as far as, you know, toggling through and seeing what you got down there, you can see right down in the center, I'm tripping through to get to everything. And then I can adjust the brightness with the toggle next to it, which is what I'm using right here. So you can see I'm affecting the digital display down there right now. So that's what's going on from there. Now, moving on to the steering wheel. So I'm going to start you with the buttons you're seeing right here. So you can see that you have your volume controls right there, and then you have the home button. And I'll explain a couple more of these in just a second here. So let's move this car out of the sun to where you can see better what I'm doing. Okay, so my home button is actually going to toggle through up here and bring up all these screens as far as my menus. And then I can scroll down through the menus and select a plethora of things here. So I'll just toggle on and touch on some of the ones I really like. If you want to see what audio you're listening to, you can get to it right there. Your next turn-by-turn direction. This car does have Garmin's navigation system set up in it. It'll give it to you right there once you've selected a destination. Traffic signs, this will use the camera in the car to detect the road signs and tell you what there are. That camera is actually right up in this box right up here above the mirror. Same one it uses for the lane keep assist settings and program. So just a really cool that you can set this up and kind of change it to some different things. As you can see, I just have tons of menus I can scroll through. Or if I just want to go classic with a standard, gauge, I've got that too. Now, how I was toggling through is actually right here, and you can scroll down, and when you want to select something, you press down on it and it selects it. So just so you know, my volume controls are right there, easily labeled, and then to jump between tracks and things like that are right here. My back button's important in case you get into a screen you don't want and you need to get back out of it, right? So that's how that works. My Bluetooth controls are below, so to answer a phone call, to hang up a phone call, and then to use voice command, so press this and say call so-and-so. If you're using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, I can press and hold this till I hear the beep for Siri, and then ask Siri to do anything. So Siri, text this person, Siri, call this person, Siri, directions is such and such, or same for OK Google too, right? So that's just how this works. Now moving over to the other side. So this is where you're gonna find some of your Honda sensing features. So you wanna hit the main button first, and when you do, you're gonna see LKAS and ACC come on, so you can see them flashing up there. ACC stands for Adaptive Cruise Control, and LKAS stands for Lane Keep Assist. So let's go over Lane Keep Assist first. So the Lane Keep Assist button is gonna be right here. When I select this button, you're gonna see these dotted lines come on, which are flashing at you. Now, this is gonna work from 45 miles an hour to 90 miles an hour. And if you have your windshield wipers on, it's gonna turn this feature off. Same way if I hit my blinker, it's gonna temporarily turn this feature off. So what it's designed to do is if I am going down the road and I start to drift a little bit out of my lane, it's just gonna naturally pull the steering wheel a little bit to the left or the right and correct for me. How you know that it's now reading the road is those lines will fill in solid. So right now you can see that they're hollowed out. Once you're getting over 45 and it's actively reading the road, those are gonna fill in solid. Now it's reading the road and you should know. And if you start to drift a little bit, you'll fill it correct for you. So this isn't self-driving technology, but it is a means to where we're heading. So just know that this is there to help you, but it's not going to strictly drive the car for you. Now, adaptive cruise control. Once I get up to the speed I want to set, I would press the set button. From there, you'll see a car icon appear where it says ACC off. Obviously, I'm not moving right now. From there, I can then set the distance it keeps between me and the car in front of me. I'm going to use this button to do so. So when I select that button, it's going to see some boxes pop up. The more boxes, the more space it keeps between you and the car in front of you. So less boxes, less space. So that's how adaptive cruise control works. Now that's going to use the radar down in the grille of the car along with the camera. So 2 of these are going to be working all the time for you. Now some of these other features that use these are going to be things like your road departure mitigation system, which I just pulled up. And this is going to be if I start to veer off the side of the road, it's actually going to alert me audibly and then shake the wheel. And then along with that, your collision mitigation braking system. So this is more almost directly influenced by adaptive cruise control, because what this is designed to do is, if it's looking like I'm going to hit a car from behind, first it'll audibly alert me, and then it'll actually start to apply the brakes to help prevent the accident. So you can see how that ties in with adaptive cruise control. So that's what's going on from there. Now, moving over to the touchscreen. So let's move over here. So it's set up a lot like my other vehicles. It's really simple and easy to understand. Color coordinated, you can change stuff and move stuff around. So if I want to, I hold something down. From there, I just move it over. So easy to work with here, guys. If I want to get rid of something, if I want to add something, I mean, it makes life pretty easy. Same thing for some of my buttons up here. I can move those around too. So that's just how this works. And then when you're done, you just press the done and it jumps back to the normal menu. So navigation. It's set up through Garmin, so I can pinch, I can pull, I can move stuff around. That's just how it works. Jump back, you know what I mean? So this is a pretty simple process to use. If I go over here, give me some options, the different things I can do in my settings. There's some different stuff that you can play with as far as map and vehicle settings, traffic mode. This will allow you to you know what I mean, to use the HD traffic to see, you know, what's around you. Same way like a Waze would work, as far as alerting you to what traffic's around you and where it's going. So that's just how this works. So this is a pretty simple setup to use, guys. I think you can handle this. Now, moving back to the home, we're going to jump over one more. My Bluetooth settings will be right there. To add a phone, the first time you select this, it's going to prompt you through the process. So would you like to connect a phone? From there, connect new device, make sure your Bluetooth's on, hit OK, and now it'll allow the two to search for each other. So that's how that works. Now, if you're adding a secondary phone, so let's say you've already connected one, what you would want to do is go to Settings, and then from here, you want to go to Connections, and then you would go to Bluetooth. And then same thing, connect a phone. It's going to ask you to, you know what I mean, turn your Bluetooth on and so forth. So pretty easy to add a phone. Power flow is just going to give you the option to see what you're driving in, whether it be like right now, I'm using, you know what I mean, the engine and the battery to power the car because the engine just did kick on, but it'll show you just the power flow in the vehicle. So, I mean, it makes perfect sense as far as what you're seeing. FM, it's a standard setup, guys. This is easy to work through. You know what I mean? If I want to add a station, this does have HD, and I'll show you that in a second. I press and hold. Now that's set on my station. Now, if I hit an HD station, something to keep in mind is that a lot of your HD stations are going to give you more than one option. It's just so something to know that when you select one, sometimes you're going to have some additional options as far as what you're listening to. So I just want you to know about that. So an HD channel can have, you know, 3 and 4 different options as far as what you're listening to. So just be aware of that, that this car does come with that. So just kind of nice to know. So moving on past that. Smartphone connection. This is where Apple CarPlay and Android Auto come into play. So if I plug my phone into the USB, which you'll see the USBs, I've got 2 of them right here, and this top one is going to be set up for the phone. I can plug into that. From there, I can pull my map, my music, my messages, all up onto the screen along with my navigation for my phone. If you're using an iPhone, it would be Apple Maps right now. As I understand from somebody over at Apple, as of September, you're going to get a new iOS update, and you'll be looking at Google Maps and Waze additionally too. If you are an Android-based user, you will currently have access to Waze and Google Maps, so just keep that in mind. Bluetooth audio, if you want to stream audio via, you know what I mean, Bluetooth, this would be what you'd be using to do it. Now, settings. A couple things I want to show you in here are under vehicle. And there's just some cool stuff in here. So if you scroll down to door and window setup, this is where you can set like your door locks. So as far as like auto door lock, this is where it's set when you hit 10 miles an hour to automatically lock it. So that's the default as far as what you have. You can set it to where when you shift to park, or you can turn it off. Moving back out of that, the door unlock, right now it's set up to where when I open my driver's side door, it's going to unlock the remaining doors of the car, and I've got a couple different options I can change that to. So I just want you to know about some of this different stuff you got. Walkway auto lock is a super cool feature. So if this is turned on, which I'm going to turn it on, I'll set that to default. If I get outside of 10 feet from my car and have the key in my pocket, it can automatically lock the doors for me. So what that's set up for is if I'm one of those people who gets halfway into the grocery store and forgets if I locked my doors, I don't have to worry about that with this feature on. So that's how that function works. So just so you know what's going on there. So just some different features I want you to know about. Trip information is pretty self-explanatory as far as how many miles you got on your tank of gas, what kind of conditions you're getting as far as your miles per gallon, things like that. SMS function, it'll read your text aloud to you, so it's just kind of nice knowing that if you receive one, you can have it read to you, and sometimes you do have some prompts back. As far as XM, you come with 90 days of satellite radio to play with, and then afterwards it'd be up to you if you want to continue as far as that goes, and you could pick. So that's how that works. Moving over, you do have the USBs, which you saw, which are right down here. I could load a thumb drive, I could plug in an MP3 player, I can plug in my phone and play music, so there are a lot of different things I can do. AM, I don't think I need to go over that. System updates, pretty self-explanatory. AT&T hotspot. So this car comes with a built-in hotspot. You get 90 days of this for free, and then afterwards, I believe it's like $8 a month if you want to go through AT&T and pick up the service for this. So it's just a cool feature. When the screen pops up, you would power it on by hitting the power button, and then obviously you just have to connect up to the car. So that's how this function works. So pretty self-explanatory. So you can see dealer demo mode is on right now. So that's what's going on there. Now, clock, if you need to change the clock, this is how you do it. If you want to change that background screen, you can do that also, so it's just kind of nice to know. And then you have options as far as the clock face, as far as, do I want a digital? Do I want an analog? Do I want a different screen in the back? Do I want to add my own wallpaper, which I can do using the USB. I could upload my own photos with like a dump drive. So not hard to do. I can show you how to do it if you want to know. Just let me know. So outside of that, HondaLink, this just sets up to where I can access things through my phone via like a hotspot using my phone or Wi-Fi to get maintenance reminders, recall notices, and moving forward in the future, it's going to give you some different things you can subscribe to as far as being able to attach the location of your vehicle, being able to send that info out to somebody, and eventually being able to start the car from your phone and different things like that. So there's going to be some cool things that happen with this over in the next year. So just keep that in mind. So that's the touchscreen breakdown. Other things I'll show you, if you throw it in reverse, the touchscreen will automatically throw on the backup camera. You've got 3 different views, so wide angle, normal, and then one aim straight down so you can see the edge of my back bumper if I was backing up to another car. So that's just how this function works. So super simple to understand. Now, one thing I will talk about real quick is right here. This is where people struggle, and that's just because it's not a standard shifter, it's buttons. The cool part about the buttons is when you throw it into something, it's always going to give you an LED and let you know where you're at, so that way you can tell. So I mean, it's really not that hard. It just eliminates a shifter being in the way, so it gives you a little bit more space to move across. Now, the emergency brake down here, my parking brake, to use it, I put my foot on the brake, I lift up to set it, so same like pulling an e-brake. To release it, I push on the brake, press down to relieve it, right? And when you set it, you're going to see that it's telling me the parking brake's on, so you're going to see it turn off. You're going to see it turn back on here in a second. So that's how this works. Brake hold is set up to where if I'm in stop-and-go traffic, you have to have your seatbelt on to use this one. Just keep that in mind. And I'm in drive. What'll happen is when I come to a complete stop, it'll actually hold the brake while the car's in drive and allow me to remove my foot from the brake. So it's more of a convenience feature for stop-and-go traffic. But it's just nice to know that you have that and available to you. Now moving over, there's 3 different features you're going to see here. Econ button is set up to improve gas mileage of the car. Whenever you do that, you'll see the green leaf come on. How it works is it's going to shut down some of the electrical systems in the front end of the car, affecting things like your ACE unit. It's going to limit it, and your accelerator. So the other way is going to be sport mode. Sport mode is going to actually change the opposite. It's going to improve revving, give you more get up and go, but it's going to affect gas mileage in a negative way. So keep that in mind. And then the purely electric mode, when you throw that on, if you have a charge built up, it'll allow you to drive on purely electric until you run out, and then it'll switch back over to whatever it needs to. So cool feature there too. Now, the center console setup has a sliding armrest. You can pop it open too. You do have the cup holders, and then you have the deeper well down in here if you need to get to it also. And then you have this little sliding change holder. Now, in the very bottom back here, I'll show you, there's a little tab on the rubber down here. You can pull it out, and there's actually kind of a cool design on the back. I believe there's like 3 or 4 of these. So just a little hidden Easter egg for you. I don't know, just a nice touch that Honda did. They didn't have to, but they did it. So check it out, man. It's got some of the different things that they've come up with as far as, I think it's, what is it, Nismo is the robot, and the motorcycles, and some of the other things that are available in the Honda lineup, as far as the Jet and different things like that. So you can see it as a leather finish. I do have black inside of this vehicle. All the door seals and the dash are always going to be the darker colored along with the floorboards to prevent glare, and then of course prevent dirt. And then the interior just depends on what color you pick. You know what I mean? As far as whether it be a tan, a gray, or a black. This car does have a moonroof, which I can open via right here. To crack it directly up, I would just press up, or to send it all the way back, I do that. So that's how this feature works. This will affect my door lights as far as when they come on when the doors open. And then you'll see I do have HondaLink and then a roadside assistance alert. So if I need to get in touch with somebody for help, I have both of these functions here. and available to me. So that's what this is. The car comes with 3 years or 36,000 miles of roadside assistance. So know that you can take advantage of that. That's just part of owning a Honda. So not something I regularly bring up, but know that it does exist. And if you want to know more about the other warranties, just reach out to me. You can comment on the YouTube video. Be more than happy to answer your questions. You can always email me at the letter J and then Fuller, J-F-U-L-L-E-R at howdyhonda.com. Or you can always call me at 512-443-4300 and just ask for Justin. Thank you much.